Good morning. Today our number is 17 and we're going to blast through and find every single way of adding two numbers together to make the number 17. We're going to be really logical and make sure that we find all of the possible ways. So let's start by counting up to 17. Are you ready to count with me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Now, if we're going to find the ways of making 17, if we're going to break it into a part-part whole, I think we should start by breaking down that number. The number 17 has two digits. It's got a 1 and a 7. Now, the 1 doesn't mean 1, it means 10. But if you think about a number 10, that's a 1 with a 0 to make the number 10. Well, that 10's still there, but the 7 is covering up the 0. So we've got one lot of 10 and 7 more. So it's 10 with a 7 on top. So 10 and 7 makes 17. 10 add 7 is 17. Now, if we were to move 1 across, if we were to borrow 1 from the 10 and move it to the 7s, then our 10 would have 1 less, and our 7s would have 1 more. So now we've got 9, because that's 1 less than 10, and we've got 8, because that's 1 more than 7. So 9 and 8 is 17. Wonderful. Let's keep going. We could swap those round, couldn't we? If we know that 9 and 8 is 17, then 8 and 9 is also going to be 17. 8 and 9 is 17. Now, we forgot to do that with the first one, didn't we? The first one was 10 and 7. If we swap 10 and 7 round, then 7 and 10 is also 17. Next, we can borrow another one. So we'd go from 7, 1 less than 7 is 6, and 1 more than 10 is 11. 6 and 11 is 17. Now, we could swap those as well, couldn't we? If 6 and 11 is 17, then 11 and 6 is also 17. But let's think back to 6 and 11 and borrow 1 off that 6. So 6 take away 1 makes 5. So we've got 5 on one side, and we've got 1 more than 11 on the other, which is 12. 5 and 12 makes 17. Okay, if 5 and 12 make 17, guess what? 12 and 5 also makes 17. So 12 and 5 is 17. Let's look back at that number 5. If we borrowed 1 more from 5, 5 take away 1 makes 4. And 12 add 1 makes 13. So 4 and 13 is the same as 17. And do you know what? If 4 and 13 is the same as 17, then 13 and 4 is also the same as 17. Now, if we were to borrow from that 4, 1 less makes 3. 3 and, what's 1 more than 13? It's 14. So 3 and 14 is 17. If we know that 3 and 14 is 17, what else do we know? That's right. 14 and 3 is 17. Okay, let's borrow 1 more from that 3. So we've now got 2. And what's on the other side? It's 2 and 15. 2 and 15 is the same as 17. And if 2 and 15 is, then 15 and 2 is. 15 and 2 is the same as 17. Right. Next we've got just 1 left on that side now. 1 and 16. 1 and 16 is the same as 17. And if 1 and 16 is the same as 17, then 16 and 1 is also the same as 17. Now, we're getting close to the end, aren't we? We had 1. If we borrow 1 from 1, we're left with 0. 0 and 17 is the same as 17, and that means that 17 and 0 is also the same as 17. So, I think that is every possible way of adding two numbers together to make the number 17. Because if we're adding, we can only use numbers that are 17 or smaller. And we've used every single one of those numbers. So let's go through them as quickly as we can and see if we can say every possible way of adding up to 17. We're going to start with 0 add 17. Are you ready? 0 add 17 equals 17, 1 add 16 equals 17, 2 add 15 equals 17, 3 add 14 equals 17, 4 add 13 equals 17, 5 add 12 equals 17, 6 add 11 equals 17, 7 and 10 equals 17, 8 and 9 equals 17, 9 and 8 equals 17, 10 and 7 equals 17, 11 and 6 equals 17, 12 and 5 equals 17, 13 and 4 equals 17, 14 and 3 equals 17, 15 and 2 equals 17, 16 and 1 equals 17, 17 and 0 equals 17. I wonder if you can say them all even faster than